Apple is turning 50. The company that now dictates global tech trends started in a California garage in 1976 when two college dropouts, Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs, decided to build a computer. 8 years later, they released the Macintosh. With a mouse and an icon-based interface, it took computing out of the hands of specialists and put it directly into people's homes. Then came 2007. The iPhone moved the smartphone from a business tool to a mass-market staple, becoming a global status symbol for billions of people. This chart tracks how that product shift impacted Apple's bottom line. You can see iPhone sales climbing towards 3.1 billion units globally, which pushed the company's valuation to a staggering $3.6 trillion. But selling electronics was only step one. Apple built an ecosystem where the hardware, software, and services are so tightly integrated that leaving becomes a hassle. They engineered a fierce loyalty among their user base. That hardware strategy made Apple the most valuable company on Earth. But after 5 decades, the premium smartphone market is saturated, and the model of relying on annual device upgrades is hitting a ceiling. Under Tim Cook's leadership, Apple had to find a new way to grow in a world where everyone already owns a phone. They shifted focus to extracting more value from their existing user base. By turning the App Store and digital services into primary revenue engines, Apple began taking a cut of almost every transaction happening inside its ecosystem. But that closed-door strategy brought severe blowback. Regulators in both Europe and the United States are currently scrutinizing Apple, accusing the company of monopoly abuse and demanding they open up their platforms. Beneath that trillion-dollar valuation, Apple is navigating 2 distinct, high-stakes challenges to its long-term dominance. One battle is taking place across physical, global geography. The other is being fought over invisible digital code. How they navigate these 2 fronts will define their next 50 years. Tim Cook masterminded a strategy that made China the primary manufacturing base for Apple devices, relying on massive contractors like Foxconn to assemble the vast majority of iPhones. Beyond its role in manufacturing, China serves as a critical consumer market, generating tens of billions of dollars in annual revenue for the company. Now, that reliance is a liability. Rising tariffs and geopolitical trade tensions are squeezing their margins, while domestic competitors like Huawei are capturing more of the local market. To mitigate this risk, Apple is attempting to dismantle and rebuild parts of its legendary supply chain across new borders. They are pushing manufacturing into emerging markets, setting up new facilities and training workforces in countries like India and Vietnam. This is a complex physical migration, attempting to maintain operational efficiency while disentangling from the geopolitical risks of a single dominant manufacturing hub. While Apple rearranges its factories, a software shift is threatening its high-margin hardware model. If the phone's primary value moves to the AI models running on it, the physical device risks becoming a generic container for other software. Apple has struggled to keep pace here. They had to delay a promised upgrade to their Siri digital assistant because it couldn't match the capabilities of modern AI tools. The gap in their own technology was so wide that Apple chose to partner with Google to bring advanced AI features to the iPhone, rather than relying on its own engineers. This chart shows how quickly the landscape shifted. Microsoft, Google, and OpenAI launched rapid-fire AI products, while Apple's development line remained flat. As this gap grows, Apple loses the ability to define its own operating system's smart capabilities, ceding control to rivals. This is causing real investor anxiety. There is a concern that if competitors control the core AI models that users rely on, Apple's grip on the mobile experience will erode. Creating the world's most beautiful physical phone offers no protection if the intelligence layer inside it is owned and controlled by a competitor. But Apple rarely invents a category. Historically, they wait for competitors to test the waters, refine the technology into something intuitive, and then use their massive scale to dominate the market. Their strategy isn't about building the most powerful AI model in the world. Instead, they are betting that they can win by making AI highly personalized and private, processing data directly on the user's device. Their existing wearables provide the physical infrastructure for this strategy. AirPods are already being upgraded with smart software to act as constant, localized audio assistants. This extends into spatial computing. The Vision Pro headset acts as a development platform for AI smart glasses, embedding Apple's ecosystem into a user's environment. Because Apple controls both the hardware and the App Store, they are uniquely positioned to turn generative AI into a profitable business, a milestone the rest of the industry is still chasing. As Apple enters its next half-century, its future depends on winning these two battles, securing a shifting physical supply chain in Asia, while leveraging its trusted hardware to quietly win the marathon for digital intelligence.